People struggle with moving into a higher consciousness by holding on to their old self. What advice would you give to ones who are letting their old self prevent them from moving into their new higher self?
That's a tricky question because, like everyone else, I'm also struggling with releasing aspects of the old self. And what I have observed, not just in myself, but in other people around me, is that we are still, many times, while we strive for growing our consciousness and evolving ourselves spiritually, emotionally, physically, we are still stuck in childish paradigms. Um, Most specifically, unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is the single most um, trait that's keeping people from evolving spiritually. People remember something that was done to them, a wrong that was done to them 10, 15, 20, 35 years ago, and they have not forgiven or let go or released that situation. What they don't know is that holding on to it is actually detrimental to themselves, their body. It's a chemical and physiological thing that happens when you hold on to unforgiveness. A lot of people who develop cancers in the colon, it's because they would not let go of things that happened. Unforgiveness, right? It's the barrier to evolving, right? Some of us hold on to unforgiveness of a teacher that wronged us, someone that bullied us in school, but we carry that victim situation all through our life because we have not let it go. We are triggered when we go into situations as adults where we're bullied. And so we're going to react. And sometimes that reaction is unconscious and less than spiritually evolved. The same thing happens where we move from unforgiveness into hatred. A hatred is a whole nother set of emotion that triggers chemical reactions in your body. A hatred now grows into this whole thing of anger and bitterness and resentment. And those emotions carry a chemical charge in the body. They will say that the heart generates a charge when it's generating loving thoughts. Apparently, and this is something I've just learned recently, when there's anger or hatred in the heart, it generates a lot of sodium. And so your body now becomes what they call salty. In Jamaica, we say you're salt. And bad things happen. So that's why when people walk around with a lot of anger and resentment and bitterness in them, they now start to attract negative things in their life. A sequence of negative things start to happen. And then in Jamaica, we would say, yeah, man, them salt. This happened and then that happened and then that happened. If you went and did a thorough examination of that person, you would find that they're carrying a lot of bitterness, anger, resentment, unforgiveness in them. You also will see it in someone's face, in how they age. And we'll see some people and we'll see, oh my goodness, they're just aging beautifully. And they carry so much light. There is so much beauty in their eyes, in their whole persona. It is because those persons have an affinity for forgiving, for releasing, for letting go, for not carrying anger. You can see it in someone's face, you can hear it in their voice, and you can see it in their behavior and in their demeanor. Now, we're all different. So, different things like memory retention, it's going to be different from person to person. So there are persons who have a greater affinity physiologically to remembering things, and therefore remembering the wrongs that were done to them, and therefore carrying the anger, the bitterness, the resentment within them for years. And then there are those people who don't think about what happened to them 25 years ago. They really don't remember, and they, have dismissed it. They don't think about it. They're just living in the present and moving forward. So there are actually personality types that hold on to things, and their personalities that just let them go and move forward. Women tend to hold on to things longer. It's just how we're designed. Men, they'll remember it. It will be a problem. They'll be angry, and then they let it go and move on. So what it requires for us to grow in consciousness and grow spiritually and evolve as a person is for us to recognize these traits in ourselves and manage them. So I was a hothead when I was younger. Everybody, my dad used to call me warlock because I was always at war. But I had to stop and calm myself down, watch how I reacted, manage my reactions, manage my outbursts, manage how I use my words, manage my tone, manage my body language, manage how I put my face, just so that I wouldn't incur the wrath of any more people, because then if you trouble me, I go and trouble you back. It's going to be a war. I'm a Jamaican first. But with time and with age, one recognizes the importance of managing themselves, managing their emotions, managing their thoughts, managing their reactions. And that helps to evolve you. Then after a while, when you realize that you've evolved, then you start to recognize that there are many things that happen that you don't need to dwell upon anymore, and you can let them go. So it takes some level of consciousness and awareness, self-awareness, to be able to move, to manage yourself to the point where you can evolve your spiritual self, evolve your thoughts, evolve your actions to be more moderate and moderated, and to manage yourself so that you don't infuriate others, offend others, and create situations that constantly escalate. We all have that ability to manage ourselves. And it is the persons who manage themselves well that are actually in the best position to evolve themselves. It requires introspection and self-awareness, and it's something that we all, male and female, should strive towards doing.